Welcome and thanks for joining me right here on my channel. The solution is you. I hope that you are enjoying the day. Now, if you appreciate the content, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. How about I go ahead and get right into today's subject? Now, the topic of today is life in the fast lane. Today, I'm giving you 3 situations that can put you in a jam. Now, when we're out and about, especially on the freeway, I don't know about you, but I try to stay away from the fast lane. So this is the farthest lane over to your left. And when you're on the freeway, don't you hate it when there's always someone speeding up behind you? So they're riding your bumper, and there may be some lanes that are wide open, but they decide to just stay on your tail, hoping that you move over. You ever been in that situation where you have somebody riding your bumper, even though they could get over, but they just want to give you a hard time, try to make you scoot over? So it's pretty dangerous out there sometimes when you're out on the road and say you're going to go visit a relative or somebody you know. You out doing your daily duties, you're on your way to work, and you have somebody who is speeding, going in excess of the speed limit. So if the speed limit is, say, 70 on the freeway, you have somebody going 90. Things can get quite treacherous out there on the roads. And the reason for the fast lane is so that people can take advantage and get to their destination as opposed to the slower traffic. And although the fast lane can be a way for you to reach your destination quicker, it also can present some obstacles if you're not careful. So today, I've put together 3 situations that can put you in a jam. So, number 3, when delivering your best becomes a problem that follows you home. So, today's topic is geared mostly for our men. And as I've said before, when I have a topic that's geared mostly towards men, which most of my subject matter is, women can also listen and there's something to take away from the lesson. But again, number 3, when delivering your best becomes a problem that follows you home. Now, men, most of us have a competitive spirit. So this means that everything we do, we try to measure ourselves with others. We try to be the best that we can. We try to show other men up. And we do this in many different ways. Sometimes it's a subtle size up that we do. And other times it's just outright. This is just the nature of man, to compete against one another, to be the breadwinner, to go out and challenge each other to become your best. And this typically happens a lot around women. So if you're around someone you're interested in, especially if a woman is giving you attention, then we go out of our way to impress the ladies. So ego plays a huge role in obtaining that special someone. But some of us, we let our egos get in the way. And usually this happens during a time in which we're trying to impress a woman that we're eager to meet. Maybe she's showing interest in us and we're trying to impress her. It could be due to some personal possessions. You may have a sports car, or you may be a person who is making a lot of money. So you may be dressed down to impress, or you could be a gym buff. So you're always in the gym and you're cut up and you're walking around as a person with some of the biggest arms. And we have many different ways of getting attention and trying to impress the ladies. So when it comes to dating, we as men do our very best to outdo the competition or any challenge that may interfere with us getting our date. Now, although it's natural to compete against one another, sometimes our ego can take us overboard. So, in a situation where you're in a committed relationship, and let's say you're out, you may be at a club, you could be at the grocery store, you may be with a friend at a birthday party, you just could be out on some casual bowling, you may be at your local fast food joint. Many times we are introduced to, or we happen to meet a woman who gets our attention and we take interest in. And if it's someone that you see over and over again, you get to know this person on a personal level. So there's some casual conversation, and you two may have some things in common. So you get to know each other pretty well after time. In some cases, some of us, you might get the number and on the low, call her, just check and see how she's doing. In some cases, you may front her some money. It may get to a point where you picking her up and taking her different places she needs to go. And at times this can sound or appear as if it's innocent. Being a provider as a man, maybe she is in a situation that she's not being cared for properly, or she doesn't have the resources that she needs. Maybe she is voicing how she doesn't have that much money, or that she could be in college or something, and all of her resources or money is going towards paying off her tuition. And so as a man, in regards to showing how you can take care of a woman or be able to meet the needs of a woman who finds it hard to take care of herself, you may step in as the person who can ease her situation. One thing leads to another. You meet up over her house, or perhaps you meet up at some hotel or something like that. Supposed to be just a random meetup. Maybe she had some things she wanted to talk about, and she's saying that she can't do it at home or something like that. So y'all need to go to a secluded area where y'all can have a personal conversation. And one thing leads to another. Something that started out innocent slowly turns into another situation, something that you didn't expect to be in. And all of this is while you have your significant other at home. And so after time, you've met this woman and you've been seeing her and communicating with her. Things start to turn sexual. She's confided in you, and you have built up a relationship and things are going well. Maybe because you two have a lot in common, you find it very easy to convey your thoughts to her. And so when things turn sexual, sometimes you may find that you have a schedule outside of your significant other where you have to stop by there, maybe every evening or something like that. And during your sexual encounter, you want to leave a lasting impression. The last thing you want is to provide for this person, but then don't show up in the bedroom. So when you're in the bedroom, wherever it may be, maybe you're at her house, maybe you're in a hotel room, you want to make sure that the quality of the sex matches the quality of the help and the resources that you've been providing for her for the time you've known each other. So you putting it down in the bedroom. Every time you come over, this is what's expected. Everything's going great. She's making it a priority to send you messages via text. She might even come to see you at a location that is on the low, only known between you two. And so things are good. No one else has treated her like you. And this particular woman is really dependent on you to come through because for the last few months, you have been providing her with money. You've been providing her with food. You've been providing her with some good information and companionship. And then to top it all off, you've been satisfying her needs in the bedroom. But there's your significant other. So your significant other also demands the quality time and all of the things that got you two together in the first place. So now there's a conflict. You and your significant other and the woman that you have just met and have been spending time with for a number of months. And usually what happens is your main woman gets all of the attention. If there had to be a decision made on who you're going to spend your time with, mostly it would be your significant other. So this is the case, and you stop going over to the woman that you just met. So she's no longer getting the resources. She's missing out on the good sexual activities in the evenings. And now she has become lonely again because you're no longer providing that companionship. So now she's starting to feel some sort of way about that. And at some point during the conversations that you had, you were sharing personal information as far as where you lived and giving out a little bit too much information as far as your routine and things that you normally do with your significant other. So now this person has a lot of information at her disposal that is used to track where you live and to suddenly pop up. And this could be at a time that's very inconvenient for you or at a time that you least expected it. So you and your main woman could be at home chilling, watching TV, and she could be in the kitchen cooking you something to eat. And then you need to go and use the restroom. So while you're in the restroom, you hear a knock at the door, and your girl says that she got it, so she heads to the door. And as she's at the door, you're finishing up in the restroom, so you come on out. And the woman that you have been talking to that whole time, outside of your significant other, is now at the door speaking with your significant other. You have to be careful when you're in these situations because they can come back to bite you. Number two, the hidden gift that becomes a priority return. So this happens a lot and continues to happen to people of all ages. Doesn't matter your race. But when you are out here and you are meeting different people, doesn't matter if you are single, but especially if you are in a committed relationship or looking to be in a committed relationship, some of your most fun times are with women who are free to do whatever. So you may have met a honey at the club, or you may have that special someone at the job, and you two are into each other, or it just may be a casual hookup. And let's say, it's a situation where maybe you just got off work and you're stopping by to see this particular woman, and you're going over her house. And when you're over there, she has you a meal ready. She might have you something to drink. Maybe there's some type of alcoholic beverage to set the mood. And when you come over, one thing leads to the other. And so sometimes, men, you find yourself unprepared. Even if you know what this woman is into or what she's known for, you still may walk into a situation where you're unprepared. So when it's about to go down in the bedroom, you may find that things are moving so fast and things are feeling so good that you're going to go in guns blasting with no protection. And the thing about this is something that can last just for a few minutes can end up costing you big time down the road. I know that most of us have been in this situation at one time or another, regardless if you were a young adult or you're middle aged, you've been in this situation at least once where you've tested the waters unprepared. And the trip about this is that it messes with you psychologically, because once you've tested the waters and you didn't have your protection and you are still engaged with this woman, every little hiccup, you're questioning what's going on. So, for example, if the woman's saying, "Oh, I got a fever today," your heart gets to beating all fast because you're wondering what caused that fever. She may be in a situation where she said, "Oh, my period is late." So now you're about to have a heart attack because your significant other may already have 2 kids. So now you want to know, how long has it been since you had that last menstrual cycle? You may have a woman who calls you up, or the woman that you're messing with calls you up, and she say, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something." So now you're sweating. She said, I can't talk to you over the phone. It's best if I talk to you once we get somewhere in private. And so now your heart is beating all day long. You're wondering what could it be? And once you two get together, 8 hours later, she is telling you about something that didn't even have anything to do with you two. It had something to do with her cousin. Now you breathing a sigh of relief, at least temporarily. You know what I'm talking about. We've been in this situation at least one time in your life where you went in unprepared and your life was spared. So you definitely want to just take time out to think before you act. And most times this is just a mind thing. You can have the same amount of fun knowing that you're going in with protection, that you're not only just protecting yourself, but also protecting those around you and the people who depend on you and need us as fathers to be around. And it's nothing like being able to enjoy life each day, knowing that you did the right thing to protect yourself and others, and be able to live another day to enjoy yourself. And number one, the seductive married woman that keeps you returning for more. So now, all of us men have either been in a situation or had a close buddy that has been in a situation where they have been or you have been with a married woman or a woman who had a man, regardless of how long. Most of us who've been around the block a few times have been in this situation, whether you want to admit it or not. So the thing about this situation is that there's a thrill to it. And with this thrill, it's like a drug. It makes you want to keep engaging over and over again. And the thing about a thrill is that you never know what's waiting for you at the end of the roller coaster. The only thing we're worried about is the high. And sometimes the high can last a long time. And in some cases, the high can last for years, which can give the appearance that it's everlasting. So therefore, a lot of us do not get off of the ride, do not get off that high. And the thing about when you dealing with a married woman and messing around with a married woman is that you never know where things can lead. And 9 times out of 10, it could lead to a very serious situation of somebody getting hurt or more. And in a situation where you are creeping around with a woman who has a husband, maybe the husband's in the military and he's away on tour, or maybe this is a woman who her man is taking long vacations. Maybe he has some type of business trip or something that he's on, so he has to travel often. You never know when you may be under surveillance or when he could pop up on you. So I know that some of you out there have been in situations where you've been creeping with a woman who has a man and you believe that you are doing things in a way to where you would never get caught. You think you have a airtight situation or operation going that no one will figure out. But with all the surveillance and different gadgets that are used to get you recorded, it's very risky to put your life and the lives of the people who you love in danger over someone who is likely to move on from you within a few weeks or months. And it's not worth jeopardizing all that you have worked hard for or have built up to this point, especially if you're married. But there are times when you may find yourself as a man with a married woman or a woman who is in a committed relationship and you're over her house, or maybe you are at some other location and you guys are having these sexual encounters, but you never know who's looking and who is taking note of what you're doing, when you're doing it, and feeding this information to the husband. You never know what type of husband she has as to the reason why she's dealing with you. Maybe this guy is violent and maybe you're nice, so she's using you to balance everything out. Maybe this guy is beating on her and he has some type of jail record or something, and she's turning to you for comfort and protection. Maybe this guy is a deputy for the sheriff's department, and so he has access to the database that could quickly locate where you live, and no telling what he might do to eliminate you as the competition. Maybe this woman is a naive woman and she's very gullible. So, the guy that she's supposed to be committed to is forcing her to tell all the information about where you live, what kind of car you're driving, maybe has your license plate written down, and she's funneling all of this information over to him. And this guy could be waiting on you outside the job. He could be telling you on your way to the store. He might be in a situation where he's doing surveillance on your family. You don't know what could be going on. It's very dangerous when you are in one of these type of situations. And you have to take all precautions when you're dealing with any sort of person committed in a committed relationship, because you never know what information somebody may have on you and your family. Even if you're single, you never know if this person could pop up, while you over her house, or even if you're at your own house, if you're single and you got her over there, you never know when this guy may be parked over your house and knocking on your door, busting out your windows. You never know what might jump off. So it's important to always protect yourself at all times. You want to not let your ego get in the way of you making safe, informed decisions. And you always want to be in a situation where you can enjoy yourself, others can enjoy themselves, you're in a good, safe environment, and put yourself in a position where you can live another day. I thank you for listening to me today. Please understand that the solution is you. With that, have a great day.